Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm here with Gabe, Ted, and Nigel. It's another Sonic Streaming Conversation. Today, we will be talking about vision. Gabe, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Gabriel Viggers. I'm the entrepreneur in residence at attn.live. I've been working with Ian for about 4 years. We've been building a awesome Sonic streaming platform. And yeah.
Mr. Haas, why don't you introduce yourself, my friend?
I'm Ted Haas. I've been working with Ian for quite a few years. I'm the Chief of Ethics for attn.live, and we are building an awesome Sonic streaming platform to make the world better.
And Nigel, Mr. Wright.
Hello. Who are these people? No, these are my friends. I'm Nigel Wright, voice CEO, Gratitude Champion. Super happy to be here, and can't wait to get into this wonderful conversation with my friends here.
And I'm Ian Utile. I'm the co-founder and the CEO at attn.live. I just got back home from Puerto Rico, where the company is headquartered, and it's nice to be back in the treehouse. So what we do is the four of us get together, say hello, we go live on attn.live's YouTube account. Then two of us drop off and one interviews another one. So today I'll be interviewing Gabe. Gabe will be interviewing Ted. Ted will interview Nigel, and Nigel will interview me. When there's a one-on-one interview, two other guys drop off and the person that's being interviewed goes live on their attn.live account, like this, through their phone. And this allows us to have 4 live streams back to back. It allows us to be on a schedule. It allows our tech team to know how we're testing and trying different software, hardwares, how everything's going with the NFT creation, the distribution to the social media sites like YouTube, and the voice devices like Amazon Echo devices. So we've been doing this now for about a month, and we have a big event tonight called the Voice Den, and then a huge conference on Clubhouse happening starting tomorrow morning. So a lot of this energy was leading up to that. Today, we're going to talk about vision. And so Ted and Nigel, I'll have the two of you stop sharing your screen, go on mute, and then Gabe and I will jump in. Okay, Gabe, if you want to start your Sonic stream, I'm ready when you are.
We are live. There you go.
We're live. Well, everybody listening live on Gabe's attn.live account, thank you for your attention. I have the joy of asking Gabe a couple questions regarding your vision, Gabe. And so you're our entrepreneur in residence at attn.live. You do special projects and lots of things, and very thankful for that. And so on the topic of entrepreneurship, if you could get a message out to billions of people about entrepreneurship, what might you share, and why would you share that? And I guess, let me just add this. Would you share your own vision, or would you be sharing like a quote from somebody else? So if you have everybody's attention, what would you share? Why would you share that? And would it come from you, or would it come from something else that you've learned?
That's a good question. If I had a message to get to a billion entrepreneurs, it's something that I guess I was told since I was younger. I did Just Suppose. I was a younger entrepreneur and all that. It's just when I got into the entrepreneurship role, or as an entrepreneur, making those bow ties and stuff, I thought running a business is one way, 90-degree angle, clear cut. Like you run it one way. If you run it any other way, it's wrong. And that's something people in my life that are business people have came in and said, no, every company, I'm sure there's ways to run a company and then there's ways not to run a company, but every company's ran in its own interesting, distinct way, if that makes any sense. It's not, I need to do exactly what he does. I need to do exactly how Steve Jobs runs Apple. Like, it's not like that. It's every company is its own ecosystem and runs differently, and everyone interacts differently. Because when I started so young, I didn't have all the work experience and all that stuff. I'd just been in a classroom, and they give you your homework. This is how it's done. It's done just like this. And so I wasn't expecting that, but I didn't really know what I was expecting when I'm 13 and creating a bow tie company. I just sort of was like, Dad, what's the cookie cut mold? how do I run a company? And then he says, there is no cookie cutter mold. You just do it, which is kind of interesting because there's always, my whole entire life has been, you get homework, you turn it in, you get homework, you turn it in. There's one way, 1 + 1 = 2. And it's just not like that with entrepreneurship. It's a lot different than just, doing something one way that you always need to.
If you could share this general message to billions of people, and assuming that a lot of the people that see it would be entrepreneurs, how might you want to communicate that truth to people? Would you choose to have a billboard that everybody sees? Would you choose to make a 15-second Instagram story or a 60-second TikTok vertical video? Would you choose to have it as a podcast? Like, I get the idea of what you want to communicate. How would you want to communicate it?
How would I want to communicate it? I would communicate it as probably, I would say if I'm trying to, am I going directly, would you say, to entrepreneurs as a whole or entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs?
You can decide, whichever you prefer.
So if I'm going to go for younger entrepreneurs, it's probably going to be more the TikTok reel side of things. And then I think if you're going for more of the older, more experienced entrepreneurs, it'd probably be more of in a podcast form or like we're doing right now. But TikTok, and that's huge for, you see all these like TikTok podcasts and all that sort of stuff that are going crazy right now. But yeah, probably like that.
And if it was a billboard, how would you clarify this message to be succinct? What would the billboard say if you only had a sentence or something of that nature?
You are the mold. Like there's no mold
that.
to follow. You are the mold. I don't know, maybe something like that.
I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot.
Before before you leave and we bring on Ted and I interview him about ethics, I would say there's one quote from Peter Drucker. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
Yeah.
Because the future isn't going to be created for you. And if it is, you might not like that future. So, yeah.
That's right. Well, Peter made a big impact on the entrepreneurial landscape the last several decades. Good quote. Okay, Teddy, why don't you unmute, share your video? I'm going to bounce off and let you guys have your time.
Hey, Teddy, how you doing?
Great. And we are streaming now. So Gabe is interviewing me about in our sonic streaming conversations. And he's talking about, well, he's going to ask me what message I want to share. So here, you take it from here. I just wanted to do an intro. So thank you for joining us.
All right, Ted, if you could get a message out to billions of people about ethics, what would you share and why?
There's a passage. I suppose I'm going to quote somebody else. And it says, quoting Jesus Christ.
That's a good one.
He said, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. That, the truth is good and there's abundance of freedom.
That's good.
Yep.
And would you have a billboard, or like how Ian asked me, how would you represent your message or your message about ethics to billions of people?
Well, I've been thinking about that. And, in that quote, it says, you shall know the truth. And the transmission of that message, I mean, the know is you'll have an experience. You'll experientially know the truth, and that will set you free. So I'd like to transmit it in a way that everybody experiences it. The incredible freedom that comes from knowing the truth and being in the truth. Yep. So what medium would we use? Well, I'm going to quote somebody else I heard. If I'm going for the young people, I don't want to speak in their language and use TikTok. If I'm going for the older people, maybe a podcast, maybe a video interview. I watched a podcast the other day I really liked. Yeah, so you can engage people. Now, and I'd like to make it in their own language. There you go.
Yeah, that's good. It's awesome.
Simultaneous translation into every language.
Yeah, that would definitely be something. Would you want your billboard to be in different languages too?
No, because I mean, yes, absolutely, but not one billboard in every different language. That'd be distracting. But we'd have to decide which billboard, you know, what the language of the people looking at the billboard. So it'd be an AI responsive, and it automatically, whoever looks at it, it would read their language because it's AI, and would put it in their language.
All right, well, I love that answer, Ted. And Nigel, you can come on so you can get your interview with Ted underway.
Well, Gabe, thank you. I was inspired again by your interview. It was great. So you are the mold. I like that. So
Thank you, Teddy.
That in fact, you stole my whole talk. That's what I was going to share, but I had to pivot there. So
Thank you.
All right, Nigel. How you doing today?
I am doing well. I'm just starting my attention live stream at the moment. So we are live, or I'm live.
That button.
So Nigel Wright, voice CEO and gratitude champion, ready to go. Let's do it.
And I am Ted Haas, Chief of Ethics, and I'm ethically interviewing Nigel Wright. So Nigel, you have an opportunity to give a message to 1 billion people. What you're passionate about? Voice diversity. What message are you going to give to those billion people?
All right, I'm going to go 2 different ways, and I kind of cheated here because I heard everybody else's answer, and both of what you both said have been amazing, and I learned something. Gabe, I love the molding. That was really good. So I have 2 ways. One, I'm going to talk about, like, for the younger people, I'm going to leave something simple but profound in 3 quick statements. The gift is giving, love never fails, and be the example you want to see in the world. Now, I don't know if anybody, I think people have said that already, but those are the 3 things that I think about that kind of send the type of message that I'm looking for voice diversity. The gift is giving, be the example you want to see in the world, and love never fails. I think if you understand that, and it took me a while to kind of get those, it'll give you something to think about, and you will work towards a better future.
I like that. And I think that can be one message, let's see.
Yeah.
Not that many words.
Now, as far as the other questions that I heard other people ask, and I'm just going to cut to the chase here. Interestingly enough, I started on this journey and, a while ago, back to when conveniently inspired by voicecon.live, which starts tomorrow. It's tomorrow and Friday. And when this happened, I wrote something specifically. So the message would be mine, the quote would be mine. And it is this: the empathy our eyes overlook is the humanity heard by our hearts and the gratitude felt by our souls when the promise of technology embraces the voice of the people. Now, I know that was long, but if you go to my Instagram, it's actually there.
That's like a poem, man. That's awesome. I love it.
It is. And my plan is to get the message out, is to ask everyone who's interested in voice diversity and passionate about it like I am, those truly committed souls, to read the same and publish it. Because
I'll publish it.
Yeah. That message,
and I'll even attribute it to you.
But I appreciate that. That is the message. It's what I thought about. For me, it combines all the things that I've been listening to for months in the voice tech space, the things that I see as important in our being human. It speaks about how we need to forego judgment and start thinking about what the intention of our actions are and how that is going to better serve, which I think is the purpose for which we are all here. So that's kind of where it is for me.
It's awesome. So what's the what medium do you want to distribute that message on?
Well, it's already distributed, and it would be Reels. It would be a Reels, video, and it would be that call to action with it. I think a billboard would be it would be a lot to read unless, as you're driving by, but that would be the medium that I think would get the most attention and the most visibility. And that's how it's being done, actually. So timely, this question.
I want to revise one of my previous answers. I'd like to look people in the eyes and share it. One-on-one, that's the most effective way. Now, to do that a billion times would be challenging, but who knows?
Just look into the camera. That's it. I chose not to do it, in the camera. I just shared an image of it, but that works as well. I mean, I think that however you want to do it, if you don't like the camera, do it while you're walking. Do it while you're walking your dog. I think our voice is truly, for voice diversity, that is what matters. The words coming out of our mouth and the intent that we put behind it. No regalia.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Great. So let's get that out. We'll help you get it out to a billion people. So you want people to get this message and basically post it or read it. So you want me to read it? I'll read it to the camera and post it on Instagram. There you go.
Read it out loud, digest it, take from it what you will, and
all right, send me the script. Send me the script. I'm going to do it.
I will.
All right.
I will.
So, all right. I want to invite back Gabe and Ian. Oh, wait. No, I go off. You interview somebody. Okay. So, yeah. So we're inviting Ian. Yeah. Okay. So I get to leave. All right, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Dave.
I am that somebody. I am that somebody. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start.
And I am right. So there.
That's right now.
And you are right. And we are right together.
We are right together, Nigel.
Yeah.
It is true. I just started my Sonic stream attached to the NFT token that I created with you, myself, Ted, and Gabe. And so here we are. We are live broadcasting to voice devices like the Amazon Echoes and social media sites like YouTube.
Right.
And I'm ready for this interview question.
I'm looking forward to this one as well. I'm always it's always good to hear your insight as much as I see you with your boys and doing the thing. And thanks for that imagery down by the pier. I feel like I'm a West Sider, even though I'm not. Hey, look who we are. What's popping, fellas?
They're totally having their morning routine. You adults, we have coffee. My boys have Minecraft. I'm pretty sure it does pretty much the same thing. Dopamine firing off, serotonin, endorphins, all the good feelings.
Yeah, we don't know how good we have it when we have it. When we have it at that point, then we settle for coffee. Really, that's kind of what it is. Youth wasted on the young. I never understood it when I was young, but I get it now. I get it. Yes, Mom, Dad, you are right. Okay, Ian, my friend, let's dig right in. So I'm looking for profoundness coming my way. I'm ready to receive it. Okay, so I'm putting the pressure on. So if you had one message or a message or multiple messages that you wanted to get out to a billion people that said everything that you've learned, embodied from your parents, from everybody who's contributed to the consciousness that is Ian about family, what would that message be? And I'm going to be very specific here. What would be the intent of the message? What were you trying to convey, even more so than the words you would use? How you would choose, to do it, voice, written, whatever the case may be, and how would it be displayed? How would it be performed, so to speak? So the intent, what it would be, and how it would be displayed or presented or performed. No pressure.
I think I communicate this not in English, to be honest with you. I'd use the language I'm most fluent in. I'd grunt. I'd give like a good, solid, earthy to communicate my vision about family. I have thought about the question. So what I thought about was, is there any message I'd want to share on family that I'd be willing to make a massive sacrifice for? Like, is there a message so important to me I'm willing to die for it? Or is a message so important to me I'd be willing to go to prison for it? Or I'd be willing to give up everything for it, to start at zero, or to be $100 million in debt and have to crawl my way out of the debt? Like, is there a message that's that important to me? Because it's really easy to throw out statements of like, if I could tell 1 billion people something, I'd tell them this. But what I keep asking myself is, well, would I say that if it meant the greatest of sacrifice? Because if not, then does that message really matter? So I think where I landed is that I'm not really sure how to say it, but it's something like this. The greatest model for family is the model that Jesus had with the creator that he called Daddy. It's also the most difficult model because it's so spiritual by nature. The reason why that is the message I'd communicate on vision is that I think oftentimes we look at our parents or our children or our friends' parents or friends' children, we look at family dynamics, and because humans are beautiful and wonderful and fantastic, but we are also prone to causing hurt and hardship toward one another. That breaks down models and truths. One of the things that's so unique about what we understand of the story of Jesus from 2,000 years ago is he was a son that never was in conflict with his father, the creator of all things. And the father was never really in conflict with the son, that there was like this beautiful communication, even when there was things like Jesus being in the garden and saying, is there any other way, where there's like this tension, there still is like this dance. And so I feel like you could even take it to say that the spiritual nature of a spiritual approach to family would also be of high regard. One of the issues I have is I don't know if there's any standard family vision that I'm willing to die for or I'm willing to sacrifice for. But if I could get people to wrap their head around the creator as a father and all of us as children, and the model by which Jesus and the creator had in a father-son dynamic, or the model that you could see in other dynamics where it was spiritual by nature, the approach to family, I think that would be a vision that I'd make an ultimate sacrifice for. And it's not a vision that's tied to theology or methodology or a certain belief system. It's the example that is there before us. So hopefully that gives you a little insight in terms of what's inside my head as I'm thinking about vision and family. If I wasn't going to go spiritual, then I would likely approach my vision, my family vision, in this way, and I do it in these formats. I would say to the world, put your family first and yourself last. People may hear that the wrong way. I don't really care if they hear it the wrong way. What I'm saying is take the lowly position, put your family on your shoulders, make a way for them, provide for them, if at all possible, do what you can to be the greatest servant in your family.
that would be my primary thing if I wasn't going to say something spiritual by nature in terms of family. Because when people approach family to serve one another, to make a meal for each other, to do each other's dishes, to wash each other's car, to send each other to a special thing, to do anything that's of service, it just is so healthy for a family dynamic. So that is a big part of what I've been thinking. How would I say the message? Just on a billboard, serve your family. And a video, I'd probably grab my parents and my kids, and we would talk really quickly about the most impactful way that we've experienced service in our family dynamic. So I know it's a little scattered, but it's a pretty significant thing. When I started asking myself, would I be willing to die for this message? Then I'm like, gosh, scrap that. That's no.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here because I've been listening most attentively, and I'm gonna give you some flowers right now. This just kept getting better. You know, Gabe started off with his mold, which was
you are the mold.
Yeah, he came with that energy, and then Ted, you know, followed it up with his usual impassioned way, and then, you know, I gave my little, you know, my poetry spin on it, and then that was fine. But man, like, man, you wow, I have to say, you came with this one. You came. I don't know how long you've been preparing this one, and I'm not exaggerating here. I was so moved by this that I actually want to write something deeper based on what I'm about to tell you, which is going to be the subject of it, based on what you said. I got it. You know, I received it. It resonated. And here's what I think in a nutshell, everything you said, you know, comes down to. Do it in spite of. Do it in spite of. You think from the very beginning, and it's something, you know, I say in a much longer, drawn out sort of way, the gift is in the giving, the reciprocity is in the recipient paying it forward. Don't think about what you're doing. Think about the impact it can make. And you said it from the beginning. What could I do that would be worth this? What could I say that could be worth going to jail, losing money, losing my life? Like, all those things, do it in spite of. And it's the thing that we don't do enough of, because it rises to that level. And it's the things that make the most impact. If you figure how people's lives don't get the change trajectory because they're not supported, because one thing happens and someone makes that judgment and thinks it's one way and doesn't give that added in spite of. So I would love to, you know, write and credit something, do it in spite of. Not just do it in spite of. So Nike, touche to you. You know, do it in spite of. That's what I got from that. But I really appreciate that. That was profound. You came with that one. So yes, love it. You want to bring the guys in?
That's right. Well, Ted and Gabe, why don't you jump back on? I have Landrew in the waiting room. So I think we're going to wrap up our live stream so we can let Landrew in and catch up with him for a moment. Any final thoughts, Gabe or Ted?
On my end, I thought that was awesome. Love never fails. Be the example you want to be in the world, and you are the mold. Mic drop.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think this one could be the best one yet.
Yes.
Man, a lot of gems in this one, guys. A lot of gems.
Love it. Excellent. Great. Yep. If you're not willing to die for a message, is it even worth trying to get it out there?
I think it's a pretty important question. Like, could you imagine if on Clubhouse, if you had to pay to speak? What if every single second your microphone is unmuted, it costs you a penny or $1? You think people would be a little bit more thoughtful about what they say if there was a sacrifice and a cost? So I think that's a good thing for people to recognize. You know, there's obviously a cost of our time, which is the most valuable thing we have. But I just think that sometimes we are just not thinking through our communication in light of sacrifice. And maybe that cheapens our communication a little bit unnecessarily. Well, I'm going to stop the live stream on YouTube, everybody. We're grateful that you joined us, whether live right now or in archive later. And we'll be back again soon with another Sonic